Hello, good morning. My name is India and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the books that I read in February, and I'm also going to be doing my makeup. I've been wanting to do my makeup in like a colorful way for a little bit now, and I thought it might be fun to do just like a get ready with me February wrap up. We'll see how this goes. Before I start with anything, let's talk about the TBR logistics. What is happening? Ma'am, are you playing with a box? Hi, this is Eleanor. She was playing with a box. So at the beginning of the month, my entire physical TBR was at 281 books. In February, I acquired 21 books. I unhauled one book, and I ended up reading 4 books from that physical TBR and 4 other books that were audiobooks and so don't really affect anything. So all of that comes out to being 298 books on my TBR. I don't want my TBR to get into the 300s. I also am putting a book buying, book acquiring ban on myself. Mostly for me, like the big trouble is anytime I see a book that I have heard of and know I would like to read eventually in my life, and if it's secondhand, I'm like, oh, just get it now. Which is definitely a scarcity belief when I'm pretty sure I'll be able to find the books that I want secondhand whenever I would like. So, let's start off. The glasses are off. The time has come. The first book I read and completed this month was Passing by Nella Larson. This is about 2 women, Irene and Claire, who are both light-skinned Black women, and were kind of friends when they were children, but now, but have like not seen each other in a while. One of the women makes the decision to pass and live her life as a white woman, and the other one decides to live as a Black woman. But they run into each other surprisingly, and it's kind of about what happens when they start to be in each other's lives again. I thought this was really very interesting. Specifically, I was drawn to thinking about Irene's character and how she judges Claire for some of her decisions and how she thinks about Claire and Claire's decision to pass versus like how she thinks about herself and the things that she does. So kind of this like cognitive dissonance, I think. By the end is something, but by the end I was kind of confused about the homoeroticism or the homoeroticism that's mentioned in like the blurb and that some people have mentioned. I think that would need some closer reading by me. Wow, what can you see there? Oh, a cookbook. That was just something that I didn't pick up on and was expecting to. Wow, I love not being able to read my notes. I think this is also a really interesting book to read in regards to the public and private spheres and the way that like identity interacts with those spheres. But yeah, I read Passing and enjoyed it, and now hope to read The Vanishing Half and Gingerbread by Helen Oyeyemi. Every time I mention these two, I am always like, is Gingerbread actually a retelling of or like inspired by Passing? And the answer is I still don't know. There you have it, folks. Then over the course of this month, I read, I listened to the Binti trilogy by Nnedi Okorafor. really loved it. Binti is about a girl, Binti, who's the first of her people on Earth to be invited to attend Umza Uni, which is ultimately like the most prestigious university in the galaxy and hosts students from all species. So she's invited to attend, and she makes the decision to go against the very strong wishes and beliefs of her people and her community. And so it's about this, like, the first book is about her traveling to the university, so boarding this spaceship that is a fish, and the ship is attacked before it's able to get to the university, and it is attacked by a species of alien that has long been in war with another group of people on Earth. I love this. I'm going to talk about this more with another book that I read, but this month really convinced me that I should be reading more sci-fi. I loved Binti as a character. I thought that she was very dynamic and passionate. Like, I think Binti is so passionate. This very passionate character who is throughout the course of the series dealing with trauma, struggling with identity, struggling with being othered, and like this like cycle of finding herself and then being othered and then finding herself again within different identities. So yeah, by the end of the series, I was so hooked and cared so much about the characters. Not only is this, it's not like the first time I'm reading sci-fi, but it's the first time that I read an entire series in a month. Granted, the books are quite short, especially the first two are more novellas than anything. Yeah, it was just such a pleasant experience. I read these on audiobook. I've been trying out using audiobooks, reading audiobooks and listening to them, especially because I was moving this month. Like, that seemed like a good idea. When I was driving, I loved listening to them, but sometimes, like, when I would be listening to it and like cleaning and packing, I would notice, specifically with the next book that I'm talking about, my focus drifting. So I'm going to continue giving audiobooks a try, but I know that audio is not my like highest top preferred form of book consumption. Okay, I'm gonna put my glasses back on so I can look at, what am I looking at? Colors. Looking at colors. Okay, so that was Binti. So another audiobook I read was Homie by Danez Smith, which is their second poetry collection. I've read Don't Call Us Dead and really, really enjoyed it. But I think for me, this was not a great listening experience, even though it is read by the author. Like, I love reading or like listening to poets read their work. I think that is just amazing. I think for me, the audio experience was something that hindered me to like perform my tasks as a reader. With this collection, I felt myself drifting in focus a lot of the times. So I intend on revisiting Homie and reading it physically, which isn't to say that the audiobook is bad. I've heard so many great things about the audiobook. That's why I picked it up. I think for me, since poetry is often the form that focuses on word craftsmanship and like word play. Not to say that other books don't, but that the emphasis is a lot stronger on that rather than a plot or this like plot momentum. I think that's why Binti was such a strong audio listening experience for me, and Homie was less so. So anyway, Homie is a collection of, it's a poetry collection about intersections of race and gender and sexuality, but more strongly so this exploration of poetry as anger and poetry as activism. I think especially like that's a theme that is strong in Do Not Call Us Dead, but I think is a lot bigger and more explicit in Homie. But yeah, I will continue reading Danez Smith's work. I think they're really masterful and great. The next book that I read was, where is it? Difficult Women by Roxane Gay. Nice. We love problem solving. So Difficult Women is a book that I got in the Feminist Book Club book box. That was the pick for January. But this is a collection of short stories that center, quote, dangerous women, which I think I would describe as like women who are not quite fitting the mold. And often we see how do men or how does patriarchal society react to that and respond. These stories, there's a lot of trigger warnings specifically for pretty much the whole gambit of gender violence, but we see a lot of situations of abuse and just women being in not great situations. I really enjoyed this. I thought it was similar to Carmen Maria Machado's Her Body and Other Parties. If you liked that, I would highly recommend Dangerous Women. It's less horror, so there's still this like dark underbelly of the entire collection, but it shines through more in contemporary stories, so being like more dark contemporary. Is there a sci-fi? I think there's one like strongly magical one, but yeah, man, lighting, who is she? This is fine lighting, but maybe not the best for me doing this. What else? Some themes. There's strong themes of sisterhood. Twins come up a lot. Women just not having the best time. This book definitely offers very little hope. In the short stories, we see a lot of relationships, and the majority of the relationships are heterosexual relationships, and the majority of the heterosexual relationships are not positive. They're intimate, but they reflect sexism or reflect violence. So the positive relationships that we see are between sisters more often, and between family members sometimes, but it is grim in terms of intimate partner depiction. Grim in a unfortunately realistic way. So yes, I would highly recommend the collection, and I'm excited to pick up more of Roxane Gay's fiction. And also just like this is the first of Roxane Gay's books that I've read. I want to read Bad Feminist. But I had assumed that she didn't write fiction, which was silly. So I'm excited to pick up books like Hunger and yeah, anything she comes out with in the future. Okay, what is it looking like? That's what it's looking like. That doesn't look like a lot of color. Okay, moving on. Okay, this was the February pick for the Feminist Book Club box, and I'd love to be able to read the smaller subtitle. The Body is Not an Apology, The Power of Radical Self-Love by Sonia Renee Taylor. So, The Body is Not an Apology, Feminist Book Club pick for February. The Body is Not an Apology is Sonia Renee Taylor's manifesto. It's kind of like a manifesto and explanation of her ideas about radical self-love. And she has coined this idea. And so it's her looking at the ways that our bodies across all boards and across different boards are oppressed, and she uses the term body terrorism, the way that our bodies are under attack by society, which by a society that consistently convinces us that our bodies make us unworthy, or that our bodies aren't good enough, that we need to change our bodies to fit into ideals of beauty or ideals of whiteness or ideals of ability. And so it's about that, and she chronicles like, okay, what does this body terrorism look like? But more importantly, how do we, like, what is radical self-love? She does have her guide of like, here's how you do radical self-love. Here's how you, like, here are steps to take to recognize the ways that you've internalized hate about your body, and all the ways that that doesn't serve you, and more often just serves a patriarchal and capitalist and ableist and racist society. So I really liked this. It is so strong, and I know it's something that I'm going to be returning to again and again. It's going to be like part of my toolbox. It's going in my toolbox. That's how I like to think of works of nonfiction that make me think and are like, here's how we can change, here's how we can make a better world. So yeah, added to my toolkit. Yay! All right. The last book I have to talk about is War Girls by Tochi Onyebuchi. This was the pick for the Climate Fiction Book Club with Sage, Sim, and Will, which I participated in, and I'm planning on continuing participating in because I think it's a cool concept, and I am a sucker for nothing if not cool concepts. And also, I really enjoyed this book, so I am motivated to continue reading along, continue participating. War Girls is a science fiction novel set in 2172 in a kind of post-climate crisis world, where Western and like first world countries have left Earth and created colonies in space, and they're living in space. And we are following one country that has remained on Earth, Nigeria. We're following this futuristic Nigeria, and the Nigerian war that happened in the 60s placed in 2172 with additional thoughts inspired with additional details and concepts that show up in wars that occurred in African countries in like the 80s and early 2000s. So this book predominantly deals with the topic of war and deals with the question of who does war affect and what does war do to people. Because we open the book on this camp of war girls who are pretty much refugee girls who are using technology to hide from both the Nigerian and Biafran armies, because the Nigerian army wants to kill them and the Biafran army wants to get them and make them fight in the war. So yes, in this camp of war girls, we meet Anyi and Iffy, who are sisters, and we follow them across the book. That's the setup. Again, reading War Girls really convinced me to read more sci-fi, along with reading Binti. Like, I had such a amazing reading experience with both of these books / series. I love the way that relationships are presented in War Girls. I definitely assumed that, like, the sister relationship would be on the forefront in a little bit of a different way than it is. And the way that it's written offers this opportunity for other relationships to stand up and take the spotlight, which I really enjoyed. I thought that was really strong. I liked seeing both sisters develop these really strong bonds with people and love people and care for people and just like need people in their lives. Like, it's quite obvious a thing, but it I don't know, I think just since I went in and assumed that it would be more of the sister relationship is the most important thing and it's really the only relationship that's discussed or given priority, and that's not the case. These girls care about people a lot and have these really devastating relationships. So that was something I really enjoyed. And yeah, like, the book is really difficult because it, alongside emphasizing war, the specific element of war that Tochi Onyebuchi emphasizes is children in war and child soldiers, which is hard to read about. Yeah. So I thought this was really well done. The discussion of trauma and PTSD is really strong. So yes, I'm gonna do my eyeliner and then I'll come back and wrap things up. We're in a slightly different location to finish off the video. I guess I could show you what this final look is a couple hours later. My roommate promptly walked in whilst I was finishing up my mascara. Do I like that? I don't like that. Hi, biker. Oh, two of them. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. I am really happy with everything that I read. Let me know if you have any science fiction recommendations that you think I would like. I really want to pick up Becky Chambers and keep reading Octavia Butler and Ursula K. Le Guin. But yeah, like I should read The Dispossessed real soon. I think that would probably be a good idea for me. But yeah, let me know what you read in the month of February and have a great rest of your day. As you can see, we've got some sun. Okay. Whoa! She's up on our organ. Ma'am, we do not go on the organ.